Okay, hello, this is Devubrata, and today I will be covering the if statement, that is basically the class 2. Okay, so I will not waste my time by introducing myself, so it will be good if you visit the link given on the detail section of this video and you will be able to know everything about me. So before starting the chapter, I want to say one thing, like I am a slow learner. So I will for the suggestion from my side will be to practice more, and whatever the examples I will show you now, so it will be good if you practice all of them by yourself in your computer, in your compiler. Okay, so that will be good. Otherwise, it will not be enough if you only watch the video and it will not help you actually. So if needed, in sometimes I may be a bit fast or I may be a bit slow during the class, so it will be good if you just pause the video and watch it back and do it by yourself, so that will be good. So I am saying this again and again because it needs some practice. So quickly going into the topic, so today we will cover if block. So the full if block today we will cover. So there is nothing much on the syntax, rather we will check how to do the logic, how to put some logic using this if statement. So with this if statement, obviously we will also cover nested if and composite if. So prerequisite before you start this class, it will be good if you go for the class 1 that we have already done, where we have already learned to how to print, how to take input, how to do some basic mathematical calculation. So it will be good if you just go through that class first, and after that you start this. And if not, if you do not have any time, do not need to worry. Again, we will be anyhow taking some inputs here as well, taking some we will be doing some mathematical calculations as well, so no need to worry. And the second thing is required, that is time in your hand to type all this program by yourself, and check it in your compiler that if it is running or not. And if it is getting some error, you have to rectify those error, you have to spend some time with the code, then only you will be able to learn. So that is the prerequisite. So before starting the if statement and some basic problems in C, I will always prefer to go for the purpose of learning this C, means learning this if block. uh, it is not just because of it will be in our interview session, it will be there for in our academic syllabus. It should not be like that. So we need to understand why we'll be learning the if statement and the C language. So let me give you some example first. Let me open an Excel, because all of you having some Excel thing. Okay, so just a minute. Yeah, so in the developer tab, I have already shown you some example in the first class how to prepare some app. Still, the Excel part will not be in your syllabus, but it will be easier for you to understand the purpose of the coding. So first, what I will do, I will insert one button. Okay, so it is very easy. Just watch. Do not need to learn or do not need to focus on the logics and the coding pattern, because it will not be there in your syllabus or in your coding interview anywhere. So, but it will give a good impression, means from where we can start the if or why we are using this if. So this is a basic app pattern, you can say, the application. So here the first box is text box 1, the second one is text box 2, and third one is text box 3. So what we are trying to implement, we are trying to uh, we are trying to create an app which will take input of two number from user, and in return it will give the division result. Okay, so I can do some small modifications, like I can change the color, but that is not my purpose to show you the how to change the color and all. So still I am showing some of them, like let me write divide here. So in the button it will be written like divide. In the box I may change the color. Where is the color? Just a minute. So anyhow, it is not my purpose. So let me give something else. Okay, So I can, there are multiple properties here. I can put some shadows and all. So that is not my purpose again. So if the design mode is turned on, then you will be able to go inside the code if you double click on that. And if the design mode is off, you cannot go inside the code. That is the reason you are not able to go inside of your mobile application. Those apps you are never allowed to see the code written inside because the design mode is off. So let me turn on the design mode and let me go inside this button. And what I will do now, I will write a simple code here. So no need to focus on the code, means how I am writing, no need to focus on the coding style because it is a different language. But the idea of all the languages same. It might be C, it might be Java, it might be Python. So everything is same. So what I will do, I have initialized three variable A, B, C. A equals to A will take the input from the text box one, means whatever will be written in the text box one, that will be inserted into the variable A. So we have a pretty good idea on the variables right now because we have already covered the first class, so where we have learned to how to handle some of the variables. So now what I will do, I will just divide A and B and put it inside the variable C. And at last in the text box 3, I will print the value of C. That's all I want to do. So let me do this now. Turn on the design mode, otherwise it will go inside the code every time. So let me give some values like 50 and 5. Let me click on divide. Look, it is giving the 10 answer. So let me give 50 and 10. It is look 5. Let me try with some other numbers like 60 and 12, kind of that. It is 5. 60 and 30, say it is 2. So it will give all the outputs correctly. But what will happen if you give 0 here in the second box? Look, it is showing an error, runtime error message. And if you click on debug, it will go inside the code. But in real life, are you ever allowed, means, to see the code of Android programming or anywhere in the real life? No, you are not allowed to see the code. So anyhow, you have to hide the code. So to do that, first I will check what is the output message if I do the same here in my laptop calculator. So let me try to divide 100 with 0. Okay, it is giving a message like cannot divide by 0, but it is not showing the code. It is not giving any error. It is just printing a message like cannot divide by 0. So we can do the same here. So turn on the design mode and I will go inside the divide button. So what I will do, before doing this division, I will check if b equals to 0, then I will print a message like you fool. You can give any message. Okay, you fool cannot divide by 0. You don't know, you cannot divide by 0, so you can print a message like that. Else means if it is not 0, b is not 0, then you can do this sum. Okay, so that is the idea. So this is the basic structure of if else. If else, basically what is the purpose of if else? In some time, in real time situations, it required to go to two different ways. In certain condition you have to follow one way, in other conditions you have to follow another way. So I am implementing the same. If the input given by user is 0, then I will go to this part, and if the input given by user is not 0, anything else, any value other than 0, then it will come into the else block, and I will do this kind of sum. Okay, so let me try this first to see the impact of this code. So if I divide 60 by 20 now, it will give me 30. It is printing everything correctly. 10, 60 by 10. If I click on divide, it is giving 6. Look. But what will happen if I give 0 here? So if I click on divide, it is saying you fool cannot divide by 0. Okay, if I try to divide 100 by 0, so it is saying you fool cannot divide by 0. So it creates an impression in the mind of the user that okay, user is anyhow not able to see the code. If they are not able to understand the code itself, they will be just using the application like what we do in our life. Means we use multiple app in our mobile phone without knowing the code behind it. So it will create the same impression on user mind as well. But we have to write the code accordingly so that user is having a good impression on the code. So now it is not in our syllabus. So what I will do, I will quickly go into the C compiler and we will try to frame the same program. Okay. So if you do not have the C compiler in your machine, or if you are watching this video using your mobile, so it will be good to go to Google. Okay. And just type online C compiler. So there are multiple compiler like that, online C compiler. So I prefer to go to online GDB. So let me go into that. So you can do it by yourself in your phone or anything. So let me delete all of them. So it is not required. And as I have already told you, for first few classes, for first few chapters, like 7 to 8 chapters, you mean, we do not require to concentrate on this first part. Okay, int b. So we will just concentrate on the coding written between these two brackets. Even if you can delete this return zero part, it is not mandatory. You can focus on this part only. Okay, that will be enough. So let me delete this. So let me try to do the same thing what we have checked in the Visual Basic. So what I will do, I will now here, I will introduce 3 variables, and I will prompt a message to user, enter 2 values, enter first value or second value one by one, enter first value, and slash n to print a new line. So all of them are covered in the first class itself, but still it is not much that you cannot understand now. So anyway, so let me take an input into the variable a. I will do the same thing for the variable b. I will just copy paste the thing, enter second value, and I will take the input inside b. So now what I will do, I will just write c equals to a by b, and I am going to print if the answer or the result is percentage d slash n, and it will be filled up by c. So I think you know this kind of program. So let me run this first. Okay, enter the first value. So I will enter 100, and in the second value I will enter 25, and it is giving the answer is 4. So it is correct. But what will happen if I give the input 0? So let me try 100 and 0. So it is giving output like, it is taking time. Okay, it is taking time. Yeah, it is throwing an exception, floating point exception, core dumped, something like that. So it is an unusual message. User will not able to understand what is the message, what is the meaning of the message, and he or she will be confused. So it will be good to introduce if here. So what is the purpose of if? The purpose of if is to segregate 2 ways. So the first way will be if the value of b is 0, then I will just printf cannot give a good message now, cannot divide by 0. Okay, else if the value is something else other than 0, the value of b is something other than 0, then I will do this part. Okay, so it is good to make the code align. So means if you give a this tab, it will create a good impression. If you write a code like this, it is means giving a not a good impression. So it is good always to hit the tab. Okay, then it will be good, means it will be well aligned, you can say. So now you may ask why I have given double equals to. Double equals to means compare. Okay, if you want to compare something, so it will, you have to use double equals to. It means b equals to 0, means is b equals to 0, it is kind of a question. So if it is 0, it will come under this block. If it is not, then it will come under this block. Okay, so normal equals to means if I write b equals to 5, that is assignment, means I am putting 5 into b. Okay, b is taking the variable, b is taking the value 5. So it is assignment. But if I use double equals to, that means compare. B equals to 0, means is the value of b is equals to 0, kind of that. So let me run the program first. Okay, enter the first value. Let me give 100 and let me give 25. So it should come, if the value of B is 25, it should come into the else block and it should print everything correctly. Look, it is giving answer is 4. But if I write, if I rerun the program and give the input like 0, then it will show me a message like cannot divide by 0. Okay, so I think you are able to understand this logic. Okay, I will change a bit. So what I will do, I will put a message like not equals to. So to put a not equals to, it will be like this, not equals to. Okay, I can revert it back, means I can put this statement, if not equals to 0, then the division should happen, right? So anything in any order you can write. So if B not equals to 0, then this part will be executed, and else means if B is 0, then this part will be executed. Okay, clear, I guess. Okay, so if not, you can revert it back and do it yourself in your compiler. That is the only suggestion I can give. Then it will be clear. Okay, so yeah, so now I think we can move to some basic problems. So that we can solve in language C. So find maximum between two numbers. So how to solve this problem, maximum between two numbers? So I can ask for two numbers from user. I do not require C here. The first value will be inserted into A, the second value will be inserted into B. So what I will do now, I will just simply check if A greater than B. If yes, then I will print A is greater. Okay, and else printf B is greater. Okay, so let me run the program. So I will give 10 and 5. It is giving me A is greater. But I do not prefer to write this kind of printing statement, because suppose anyone gives you two numbers, suppose you are giving two numbers to anyone like 10 and 5, and the reply came from his side is, okay, X is greater. So what is the meaning of X here? So if he answers like the aim is greater, so what do you mean by aim is greater? I have given two numbers, 10 and 5. Why you are telling X is greater, Y is greater? Suppose you have saved my number, Devabrata, you have saved my number as Devabrata, kind of that, and your mobile phone, there is a pop-up like means the number of Devabrata has been saved into X. So what do you mean by X? So it will not be good to express or to disclose the variable name to the users. So never disclose your variable name. So it will be better to put like this. Percentage is greater and it will be filled by A at first. And in the second line, it will be filled up by B. So it is always preferred. Okay. Let me run the program, enter the first value. Let me give 100 and 30. So look, it is giving 100 is greater, means this block will be executed. User will not be able to understand. User will think someone from inside the computer is giving the answer, but it is not kind of that. So let me give 20 and 500. Then it will be 500 is greater. The second part means B is greater. This part is being executed, but from outside you will never understand how the code means how the codes are being executed from the inside of the code. Okay, so that is the beauty of the coding. So next program, find the area and perimeter of a rectangle and find which one is greater. So let me take two input from user once again. So it will be like, okay, so let me take two variables to hold the area and perimeter, AR and PR. So enter the first side, it will be inserted into variable A. Say enter the second side, it will be inserted into variable B. Now I will calculate the area. So the area is A into B, the first side into second side. I think you are good enough on this kind of mathematics, at least better than me. So area and perimeter has been determined by these two formulas, and after that I can check If A greater than B, then I can print area is greater. Okay, cool. And else means for any other values, you can print like perimeter is greater. Right? The same logic I have used. So let me run the program once again. So it is asking for the first side. Let me give 3, second side 2, and it is saying area is greater. Okay. So is it correct or just let me check. 3 into 2 it is 6, and here 3. Why it is giving like that? Okay, sorry, I have given A and B. So yeah, it is good to do some mistakes. It will not be A and B, it will be area and perimeter, AR and PR. Okay, so yeah, it is good to do some mistakes like this. Anyway, so unless you will not be able to learn. Anyway, so 3 and 2, let me give it once again. So now it is giving perimeter is greater. Why? 3 into 2 is 6, and 2 into 3 plus 2 means 10. Yeah, so perimeter is greater. You can take time and calculate using your calculator, or if you are smart enough in mathematics, you can do the same. So anyway, so let me try with some other numbers to check if my program is correct or not. So let me give like 10 and 5. So 10 into 5 is 50, and 10 plus 5, 15 into 2 is 30. So this time area should be greater. Yeah, my coding is running good. Okay. So that's the program idea. So last one is enter a year and find it is leap year or not. So to find a leap year, we do not require these lines. Even we do not require 2 input statement. It will be enough if we take only year, y. And I let me give a message to user like enter the year. Okay, and it will be inserted into variable y. So what I will be doing now, I will be, so how to check a number is divisible by another number or not. This time a year will be leap year in simple case. There are some multiple cases as well, but in simple case of if a year is leap year only when if it is divisible by 4. It is a simple logic. So how to check if a number is divisible by 4 or not? So the way is you have to divide the number, and if the remainder comes as 0, then you can say the number is divided by the second one. Suppose if I try to divide 8 by 4, what will be the remainder? It is 0. If I try to divide 12 by 4, the remainder will come as 0. So if the remainder came as 0, that means we can say 8 is being divisible by 4 and 12 is being divisible by 4. But in case of 11, if you try to divide 11 by 4, the remainder will come as 3. You can try it in your copy. And I'm sure you are good in mathematics, at least better than me. So anyway, so I will do the same thing here. I will test if y percentage 4, percentage means the remainder. So if it is equals to 0, then only I am going to, then only I will print it is a leap year. Okay, let me copy this line because I do not prefer to write the lines again and again. So here I will print it is not a leap year, and always maintain the alignment, otherwise it looks bad actually. Okay, so I have maintained this alignment, this print and this print in the same line. Look, now let me run the program. So let me give 2020. So it is a leap year because it is being divisible by 4. Similarly, let me try with some other years like 2025. 2025, it is giving, it is not a leap year. So I think the idea is clear, the basic idea. So it is the syntax, means we have learned enough syntax to frame if-else statements. So you can, we will not learn many more syntax. 95% syntax we have been covered. So now it comes to the logic. So if you have any doubt, you can revert it back and see my video once again, and I will prefer to do it in your laptop or in your compiler first. You will face some errors, rectify those, then only you will be able to learn. Okay, So we have total 6 relational operators here. We have many more, but it will not be valid for you. So it is greater than equals to, less than equals to, and not equals to. We have already used couple of them. Okay. So there is a common question after knowing the basic syntax or the basic idea of the for loop. Is there any way to print codes from both if and else block? Means the if block and else block both will be executed. So the answer is no. Clearly no. You can only execute the code either from if or from else. Both cannot be executed together in the same program for the same input. Either it will be if or it will be else. So today we will be covering 5 different topics, okay, for this if else. The syntax is almost done. We will be now checking how to cover all the logics using if else. So it is very important to put the logic. Okay, so I will be trying the same in all of my classes. I will be trying to put that logic into your brain so that you will be able to frame the logic by yourself from the next time. So my purpose and my goal will be like that, to put the logic into your head. Okay, so the first topic is scope of if block. Suppose if we do the same problem like enter two numbers and find the division, and it will be better to say we will try to enter two numbers and find the division from the largest number by the smallest. Okay, so what I will do now, I will take two variables x, y, and another third one to hold the answer. So what I will do, I will print a message like enter two numbers. We can take input of two numbers into the similar line. So percentage x and percentage y here. And if it might possible that user has given input the largest number into y, so you never know which is the largest number. We need to put a logic like if y is greater than x. If y is greater than x, then what I will do? I will just replace or swap those values. Temp equals to x equals to y. So we have already learned this kind of mathematical problem in the first chapter. So yeah. So and last problem, last line is y equals to 10. It is kind of, if you forget that part, so I can revise it. The value of x will be taken inside the variable temp. X will take the value of y, and y will take again the value of 10, so that the x and y will be replaced. It is similar like if you have a champagne in a cup of tea, and if you have a tea in the glass of champagne, and you need to swap the content of those glass. So you need to bring a third glass and swap them. So it is the same. So you can take time and try it by yourself, or you can visit my first class. So this is enough. So if y greater than x, then we need to swap. Else we do not need to do anything, because it is good if x is greater than y. So we do not need to write any else statement here. We can directly go into the another if, like if the second value or the smallest value is 0. Now y is containing the smallest value. Then I can print some other message like cannot. Okay, let me give the same message, cannot divide by 0. You can give any message like you fool or infinite, anything. If y is not 0, then I am going to print, let me introduce z equals to x by y, and I will give printed answer is percentage d, and it will be z. Okay, let me give a slash n. Slash n basically prints a new line, means hit a enter after printing the message. So anyway, no need to focus on that. So it is a program. Let me run the program first. So suppose the inputs are 25 and 100. So what it will do? It will swap the values, because 25 will be inserted into the variable x and 100 will be inserted into the variable y. So it will first swap the values. So x will hold the 100 after swapping, and y will take the value of 25 after swapping. So now the answer should be 4. Okay. Now let me try with some other numbers like 100 and 25. So here the first if block will not be executed. Nothing will be executed here because x is greater than y, and these if blocks will be executed only when y greater than x. So there is no else statement, so we do not need to do anything here. So I will just hit enter and it will go into the second if block. It will check the value of y is 0. Answer is no, the value of y is 25. It will simply print the result. Okay, so two learnings from here. Okay, let me first give another set of numbers for 0. All the condition I should run, I should check if there is everything all right or not. So it is 0 and it is giving cannot divided by 0. Okay, so here basically there are three learnings from the program. First is it is not mandatory to give a else statement after each if statement. So there might be some situations where it is not required to give some else statement. It will be enough if you give only if statements. The second learning is you can give multiple if statements which are independent to each other. Here, these two if blocks are independent to each other. The responsibility of this if block is to swap the values between largest and smallest. And the purpose of this if block is to find if the value given by user is 0 or not. If it is 0, then we need to print a message like you cannot do anything. Okay, so that's all we need to do. Okay, so I think the idea is clear. If the idea is really clear, then it is appreciated. Okay, because it is tough to grab this logic, because in the programming journey the most two important chapters are this if and for loop, the chapter 2 and the chapter 3. So if you are really able to understand the logic of this if statement, it is really good. It is really good. And if you are still facing some trouble, I will prefer to go back to the starting of the video and watch it again and do it by yourself. The same suggestion. Okay. So now the topic 2 is a nested if. So we are done with the syntax. Now we will learn how to frame some tough problems here using this if else block, using the same syntax. So the question is asking enter a month number and find the number of days in it. Means suppose anyone if enters 1 means month number 1 means January, and he or she will get 31 days in return. If anyone gives 2 means February, he or she will get in return 28 or 29 days. If anyone enters 3, that is March, so he or she will get output like 31 days. So we will try to frame the same thing using our known if else syntax. So let me delete everything and enter the month. So I may be a bit fast for I am showing you all of this, but believe me, it is the complete thing you will be learning for if. So if you practice it once, I think it will be enough. Okay. So what I will do now, I will check if m equals to 1, means if m the month is January, then I am going to print 31 days. That's all. Okay, else if the month is not January, then everything else, we already know this, everything else will come here. Means all other months, all the months except January will come here, right? If m equals to 1, even if anyone enters some invalid month, then also everything will come under this else block, because computer doesn't know anything. If I enter 1, it is satisfying the if, it is printing 31 days. But if I enter anything else other than 1, suppose let me give 9, it is giving me, okay, it's taking some time. Online compiler eventually takes some time because it connects to the server. So anyway, it is giving all months except January. Okay, so let me try with some other bad inputs like -100 or -200, kind of that. it should still give me a message like all the months except January, because everything other than 1 should come into the else block. Okay, so let me give the same. So it is giving all the months except January, because computer is not able to understand what kind of logic we are trying to put. So it will simply check if the value is equals to 1, then come to if block, because it cannot run both the code. If it is not, then it will come into else. So inside else, now we have everything, all the numbers. So out of them, if I try to find if the value is 2 or not, if the value is 2, then I'm going to print either 28 or 29 days. You cannot have 31 or 30 days. You can only have 28 or 29 days. Else, go to this part. So in this part, all the month except January and February now will come here. Because the February thing means if the month is 2, it will be inserted into this if block. So you can insert any value inside, means I have inserted one if else, child if else into this parent if else block. So this part is being called, this mechanism is being called nested if else, or even it can be named as if else ladder. This is the frequent term you will be checking in the program, in the programming journey. Okay, so m equals to 2. So we can do further. We can do further, like if m equals to 3, then we can say it is March, means 31 days. Else everything here. So you have to write the full program here. So I'm not going to write that much now. I'll be covering that later in this class itself. But for the time being, I'm not going to go till month of December, because it will take more time. So it is better to keep the program as it is. Okay. So I think the idea is clear. So how it is working. So same logic, same if else logic. Just you need to check if it is satisfying the code. It is going into the, it is executing the lines written inside the if block. If this condition is false, then only it will go into the else block, and whatever lines will be written inside, it will go one by one. So here in this case, another if else block is written inside the parent else. So you can follow the same. So it will be more clear if we do some other problems like enter the marks and print the grades. So there are a marks table. So I need to print some grades on the basis of these marks. So how to do that? Let me clear all this. Okay, and we do not need to focus on the outside, means hash include int main. So we will only focus on the part written inside the main function. So enter the marks anywhere. So it will be m again, marks, m for marks. So you can take any value, you can even take x, y, anything. So anyway, so if okay, so if the marks, so it will be good to cover the invalid month as well. So we haven't covered the same in the last problem, invalid month. So it should be good to cover the invalid input. So here for marks, I will be covering them. So if anyone gives the number as greater than 100, then what I will do, I will just print invalid marks. You have to give a certain marks inside, means between 0 and 100. Else, I am going to check if marks is less than 0, means it is not even 0, it is in minus. If so, I am going to print invalid. Okay, sorry, invalid. So now, if it is not greater than 100 and not less than 0, then everything else, means all the values between 0 to 100 should come into this else block, like the previous program. So now it will be enough for me if I check if m greater than 91 or not, greater than equals to 91 or not. Greater than equals to and greater than 90 is the same thing. Okay. So I again I am telling this because I'm not good in mathematics like you. So I prefer to use my computer, and like I behave like a boss, and I use my computer to do all the tough mathematics. So I will prefer the same to you, that you can also use your computer to do all kind of tough mathematics. Okay. Anyway, so it will be enough if we check if the value is greater than 90 or not, because we have already checked that value is less than 100 and the value is greater than 0, so that it comes into the else block. Otherwise it should not come into the else block. If it is greater than 100, then it will print invalid. So if it is coming to this else block, that means the value is inside 0 to 100. I think this part is clear. So now if it is greater than 90, we can directly print grade A, right? Because in program it is written 91 to 100 is A. So sorry, I have to give 91, not 90. Okay, I guess so. I will have to cover all of the conditions parallelly. So else, if it is not greater than 91, so what I will do, I will check if the marks is greater than equals to 71 or not. If it is greater than 71, then I will print grade B. Look, this part is inside this else block. Else block means else block belongs to this if statement. Why it will come into the else? Because the value or the marks is not greater than 91. That means it is surely less than 90, less than equals to 90. So I am just checking if the value, if the marks is greater than 71 or not. If it is yes, that means the marks belongs to 71 to 90. And I can print grade B clearly. Okay, without thinking anything else. So else, if it is not greater than 71, that means it will come into the else part, because if it is less than 71, means 0 to 70, any value if it holds. So now I will just check if the marks is greater than equals to 51 or not. If it is greater than or equals to 51, then I will just print grade C. And if it is not even greater than 51, then I will introduce another if, and it will go inside if else, and I will check if m greater than equals to 31. If at least this condition is being satisfied, then I will print T. Even if it is not satisfying this condition also, then I will print else. I do not need to give any condition like less than 30 or kind of that. If everything is checked out, if anything is left out there, so that means it will obviously come into this else part, and all the values less than 30 should come into this place. Okay, we have already checked if all the values are greater than, if the marks is greater than 0 or not. If it is less than 0, program will be ended here. It will not go inside the else block. So here in the else block, we can write easily like it is E, grade E. We do not need to check for the last one. Okay, so let me check the program. Okay, I have done mistakes again. Okay, I have forgotten to give some semicolons. Okay, let me run again if we have any error or any more error. I think no more error. So it is compiler is taking some time. Enter the marks. So I will enter a marks like 200, some invalid marks. So if I write 200, what will happen? It will come under this if block and it will print the invalid. So we have already learned that statements from both if and else cannot run simultaneously in case of same input. So here the program will not go into the else statement at all. Okay, it will be just print this line and it will be done. So let me enter the number 200. It is saying invalid and program is done. Okay, now if I give a number like 95, say I got a good marks in computer, so let me give 95 here. So what it will do, it will just first it will go into this block. If 95 is greater than 100, answer is no, so it will come into the else part. So it is checking 95 is greater than 0, answer is yes. So it will less than 0, sorry, it will say no, and 95 is not less than 0. It will come into this else part, and after that it will check if m is greater than equals to 91, answer is yes, and grade A. It will not go further else if block. Okay, so I think the idea is clear and it is very good. Okay, So let me run for some extreme situations, like if anyone get 20, so it will be greedy. Okay, so you can try it in your compiler. So quickly moving to the next topic, the topic 3, and it is compositive. And in compositive, it is again asking for the month number and find the number of days in it. Okay, so first let me do one thing. Let me copy this program. It might require letter as well. So so what was the program? Enter the month number and find the number of days in it. So we have not completed that program earlier, means when we did just few minutes back. So now we will be trying to complete this. And compositive basically is there to help you. Means whatever criteria are, if they are having the same input, same structure of input, you can merge those criteria, like what I'll be doing now. Enter the month. So what I will be doing, I'll be just check if m equals to 1, or this is the syntax of or, means either m is 1, or m might be 3, or m might be 5, means month of May, or m might be July, or m might be August, or m might be 10, means September, October, and if and or the value of m is December. Then I am going to print, sorry. The whole program was there as a backup. Printf 31 days. I think it's good, right? So now, if it is not, if uh, user enters some other values which is not 1 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 10 or 12, it is something else. Then what I will do? I will do if m equals to 2, means month is 2, means February. If yes, I will print 28 or 29 days. And else, everything else will be coming under this part, 30 days. But there is one exception that you need to be careful. Suppose, let me run the program first. I have made again some mistakes. Okay, I have not given double equals to. It is good to do some mistakes. So I have to always use double equals to. So it is a common mistake. Okay. So let me run the program. So enter the month. Let me give 10. So it should come in the 31 days, means m is 10. And why this odd symbol? Because m can hold only one value. It might be 10. It cannot be 8, 7, 5, 3, 1, all of the values simultaneously. So m can either be 10 or 8 or 7, kind of that. So here in this case, m is 10. So it is only one value, only one criteria is satisfied. Then it will print 31 days. Okay. So let me give some other values like 4, the month of April. Okay. So it is giving 30 days because it is not satisfying this if block. So it is coming to this else block. Again, it is checking for the next if. It is false, then it is coming into the else block. And in the else block, it is printing 30 days. So now there is one small mistake in the program. Suppose if anyone enters 200. So there is no months like that, 200. So it should be 1 to 12. So if I enter, it is giving 30 days. Okay, because 200 is coming to the else part. So it is an error. So to handle this kind of situation, so there cannot be any month like 200. So I will do like if month is greater than, less than, equals to 12, and how to give and, it is and if month is greater than equals to 1, then only it will come inside this if. Okay, otherwise if that part is not, if that part is false, then what I will print? I will print invalid. Okay, I guess it is clear now. So let me go through once again. If the month is greater than 1 and less than 12. Now, if you look carefully, and has been used. And then means both of them should be correct. So if we give or here, so it will be wrong, because if in case of 200, it is lesser than 12, it is false, but it is greater than 1. So it will come into inside the if, and in if it will try to check these values. All of them are, it is not able to satisfying any of one of them. It is not able to satisfying any one of them. Then it will come into the else block. Okay. So here, to handle the inputs like 200 minus 200, we have to use a AND statement here. Means the input should follow both the criteria. It should be greater than equals to 1, as well as it should be less than equals to 12. I guess now this part is clear. And this is one of the most important learning, how to use and or. So now the topic 4. So it is basically trying to compare nested if and composite if. So I have a backup of the program. Let me copy this out. Okay. Yeah, the program has been copied. So I can introduce one thing. If m is greater than 100, invalid, less than 0, invalid, else. Now here I can introduce a message like, or even we can skip all of them. Let me skip all of them first. Let me type it once again, so that will be good. If I am giving all the conditions, like if m is greater than 91, because we know the composite if now, and if it is less than 100, then I will print grade A. Okay. So I will explicitly give all the conditions here. Okay. Let me correct this one. The first one is grade A. Next one is 71 to 90, I guess. 71 to 90. So that is grade B. And here the third input will be 51 to 70. So it will be grade C. So if it is 31 to 50, then it will be grade D. Otherwise, it should be grade E. I do not need to write this if, or you can write even so else. But this program has some problem. I'm going to tell you. So it is like all the measurements has been specified. 91 to 100 what to do, 71 to 90 what to do, 51 to 70 what to do, and after that 31 to 50 what to do, and else what to do. So now if I enter a mark like say 40, I got only 40. So 40 should come under grade D, right? So it is printing grade D correctly. But now, if I enter 95 here, so it should print grade A, but here it will print grade A and E. Okay, looks grade A and grade E. So I have to give a /n. Give me 1 minute. So that is the basically use of /n to print it in a new line. Otherwise, this kind of confusion can happen. So /n. Okay. So let me run the program once again and give me 95. So why the grade E is coming? So it is not anything related to grade A. Grade E. So it will be grade A only. So in this program, actually, all of if blocks are basically independent. Okay, independent means this if block has no relation with this if block. We have already learned this in simple format in the topic 1. So now we'll be again revising that part with some complex program like this. So all the ifs will be executed separately. So if I enter 95, it will first come into this block and check if the 95 is greater than 91 and less than 100. Answer is yes, and it will print grade A. After that, it will go into this block. The answer will be no. 91 is not between 71 and 90. Again, answer no. Again, for this block, 31 to 50, the value of marks, it is also saying no. And for this no, there is an else statement. The else statement is not linked with other if statement until you are giving nested if. In case of all other if other than nested if, it might be a simple if, it might be a composite if. For all of them, the if are all the if blocks are separated, okay, and the else will be mentioned, the lastly mentioned, that else part is only attached to the previous if block. So that is the functionality of C. Okay, so you have to keep it in your mind. So better one thing, if we use both of the nested if and composite if. So that is my purpose, to show the comparison between nested if and composite if. So the program is not good even from another side. If I enter 200, it is not going to show me anything other than grade. So it is wrong. It should print me a message like invalid. So what I will do now, I will modify this program using both of them. So I would prefer to use both of nested if and composite if. So how to do that? So first I will give a message like if m is greater than m is greater than equals to 0, and then m is lesser than equals to 100, then only we should put this logic. Otherwise, it should print invalid. If the value is not inside this range, invalid marks. Excuse me. Okay, so this if, and if it is between 0 to 100, then we will only check if it is greater than 91 or not. So grade A, else means if it is satisfying grade A, there is no meaning to go further. There is no meaning to go further. The program will be ended here. Okay, we have already checked this out. We have already checked this nested if problem. But if the value is not greater than 91, then we can use only this if statement. So there is no meaning to write lesser than 90. It is lesser than 90, then only it come into the else block. It's coming to the else block because it is lesser than 90. So you do not need to explicitly mention the thing. Okay. So anyway, so I will introduce the nested if structure once again for you to make it clear what is the purpose and how means you will be implementing your logic. So it may be laborious to type it once again, but yeah, no issue. Okay, so you do not need to give this lesser than 50 because again I'm repeating, m greater than equals to 50, the answer is no. That's why it comes into this else block. And now we'll be only checking if the number is greater than 31 or not. So that will be enough. Okay, and at last, now this else statement will be correct because we have checked everything. So, and we have now dependent if else block. So this else will work now. So now one tough work is here to give the brackets correctly. So now I think the brackets are good. So this is a good program with the mixture of composite if. Here we have already used and then, and here it is the nested if. Okay, normal if else statement. So let me run the program once again. So let me first give 200. It is showing me invalid. It should show invalid. It is taking some time. Okay, so in the meantime, let me go below. So it when I will be entering 200, it will check if the value is greater than 0 and less than 100. Answer is no. So it will directly go into this else part and print invalid marks. Okay, So why it is taking time? I think the server, there is some problem with the online server. So anyway, let's wait. Look, it is giving the invalid marks correctly. So now let me try with some other values, like if I get 95 marks, so it will pass, it should pass the first if block. Let me show you first. So it will pass the first if and it will come inside. And now I will be checking if m is greater than equals to 91. If yes, it will print the grade A. It will not go further because a program cannot execute both if and else statements. So all of these statements come under this parent else. So it will be, if I enter 95, it will be ended here. So my online compiler is taking some time. I don't know why. Let me give 95 and it is giving grade A. Look, it is not printing grade E again. So it is a good part. So another minor thing you can check. It is not much important, but if you feel trouble to give this kind of structure, this kind of brackets, if you feel any trouble, so there is a shortcut also you can use, like else if. So what is else if basically? You can delete the gap between else and if. So just delete this and it will be else if kind of, and you can make it aligned. Okay, make it aligned. Okay, so now we do not require this gap between else and if. Either you can keep or you can just skip it. So it is else if again. So there is another method you can follow. But yeah, you have to, the most important is you have to keep everything in your mind, like the logic. You cannot mess up the logic anyway. So that you need to be careful. So now the same thing, else and if, I can delete this part and else if. So the main advantage of this is to alignment is easier, to count the brackets is easier. So that is the benefit actually. So let me align it quickly. I know it is taking some time. So anyway, I do not require this set of brackets anymore. Okay, I do not require. So this bracket will be enough to indicate the starting if, that if, this one, right? So if I go by line, so this is the if else of that part, and other part is else if. Okay, so it is a good combination of everything. The combination of if else compositive means and using and or. Then example of nested if else kind of, and use of the syntax like else if together. There is no need to nest it. Okay, there is only one nesting is there under this bracket. One else is, one nesting is there. Anyway, so run the program now. So let me give some other marks like 80. So it will be grade B. So there is just a new syntax, but most important thing is logic that I'm trying to build. Okay. So I think we are good with it, good with this program. If you have any doubt, I will prefer to go back again. And the best solution will be if you practice all of these coding versions in your compiler, all the versions, not only this final version, all the intermediate version, you can try it in your compiler. So that will be good, and it will clear all the confusions in your mind. Okay. So yeah, that part is done. We have already done this, and the last topic will be we are left with is topic 5. So different patterns of compositive. The last one for the day. So if you are trying to get admission in some school or in some colleges, and college is giving some criteria like this, you have to have 80% attendance, 70% marks, and 60% marks in theory, 70% practical and 60% in theory. So then only will be getting admission into that school or college. So let me write the program once again and let me delete all of them. So I will introduce 3 different variables here. Excuse me. A for ATT for attendance, practical marks and theoretical marks. So now I will again prompt for some message with some message like enter the attendance scanf percentage d ATT means attendance, and I am going to copy and paste these lines. Okay. Okay. So here practical marks will be entered. First. Okay. So now, as per the school, you will get admitted only when if you fulfill all three conditions. Means 80% attendance, 70% practical marks, and theoretical marks 60%. So it will be good if we write a condition like attendance greater than 80 and then practical marks greater than equals to 70 and then theoretical marks greater than equals to 60. I think it is good. Yeah. So if that happens, I will print congrats. Okay, you are getting admission or kind of that, blah blah blah. So else, if it is not good, means if you are not able to satisfy all the criteria, then it will print sorry. Okay, so it is clear. And then symbol means you have to satisfy all of them, and then means you have to satisfy all of them. So let me check first. And as per the school, you have to cover all the criteria. So my attendance is good 90, say. My practical marks is good 90, say. And my theoretical marks is good, it is also 90. So I will get admission. Yeah, congrats. And suppose my attendance is good, my practical marks is good, but I'm not good at theory. I got 10 marks only. So as per the school, it should be rejected. Let's check. Yeah, they are saying sorry because they want all of the criteria to be fulfilled. So I will not get admitted into this school or college. Okay, so I will be going into the second school. In the second school, there is a condition that you can fulfill any one between these criteria, 80% attendance, 70% marks in practical, and 60% marks in theory. So any one. So there will be a small change in the program. For the school 2, it will be order. Okay, so order means any one is true, then you will be getting the admission. It will be considered as true. Okay, you can fulfill all of 3 even, then also it will be considered as true. It is not mandatory that only one condition should be true. It is like at least one condition, at least. So let me give some values like 90. I have a good attendance, 90% attendance. Okay, again some issues with the compiler. Okay, of 90, no need of that. Okay, so practical marks, suppose I do not have good marks in practical, suppose 10% of marks, and theory also 10. So still I will get admission because my attendance is good and they are looking for only one criteria. So it is taking time to execute. What happened? Okay, just let me run this once again. There is some problem with the server today, so do not worry. 10 I have already typed. It is taking some time. Okay, let me enter now. I think the school doesn't want me to get admitted, so that it is taking some time. Yeah, it is saying congrats because we have attendance, because we are satisfying attendance part. So any one condition. So I'm not able to fulfill the criteria for practical marks and theory marks, but I am able to fulfill the criteria of attendance, so that they will be giving me the admission. Okay, so let me run once again for the last time. So suppose I have all of those means all of those things correctly, means I have 90% attendance, I have in practical I got 90% marks, say 90% marks. It is taking time, just spend some time with me. Yeah, 90. And now theoretical marks 90. Then also it should give me the admission, because they are asking for at least one criteria to be matched. It is not like exactly one. It is not like exactly one criteria should be matched. It is at least one criteria. So there is a small difference between exactly one and at least one. So they are asking for at least one, means any one criteria. That will be enough. So now there is another school 3, the last program for the day. They are asking for, they are some innovative. They are more innovative, and they are asking, if you have 80% attendance, that is good. If you do not have 80% attendance, then you have to have both the practical and theoretical marks as 70% and 60% respectively. Means either we need the marks, both the marks, or we need the attendance, any one of them. Okay, so what we need to do, so either it will be attendance greater than 80 or practical marks greater than 70 and then theoretical marks greater than 60. Means with the marks, either I have to provide both the marks or only the attendance. So then only I will be getting the admission. So is it clear? So I have given one extra bracket, if you can see. So there is an extra bracket, and I have put this and statement inside this bracket. So that means this is a unit condition. Means practical marks should be greater than 70 and theoretical marks should be greater than 60. So both of them, either both of them and or attendance alone. Okay, so let me give the attendance. Like I have a good marks, a good attendance 90%, but I have some poor marks in practical and in theory even. So still I will get admitted because I have the attendance. They are asking for either attendance or both the marks, so I should get admitted. Still school is taking some time to take decision for me. I think they are not interested on me anyway. So congrats. So let me run the program once again. Suppose I have a poor attendance now, this time 10%, and but I have a good marks in practical, but I have a poor marks in theory, means it is 10. So I will not get admitted because the school is looking for marks for both practical and theory. So here I'm not able to provide the theoretical marks. So they are saying sorry. So the last execution. So let me give 10. And now my marks, practical marks and theoretical marks, both are good. Both are 90. So they will say congrats. Okay, I think the idea is clear, and it is really tough to go all the topics in just a 1.5 hour class to grab all of them. And if is really important, if block is really important, so I think it is tough for you. So I will prefer to go slow. There is no meaning to watch the full class at a glance. So I will prefer to give some break and do it by yourself. Go slow, and if needed you can cover this class by 2 or 3 days even. So it will be good, but the most important is you are able to understand the logic or not. So if you are able to understand the logic, and if you are completed with all the tasks I have shown in this class, so you can have some exercise in this Facebook group. You can visit our group, you can send a request, we will accept. And if you are good at reading something in written format, then also you can visit the study materials. The links are given in the detail section of this video even. So let me show you the exercise once, then it will be done. So our group is Binary World. If you go to the photos section, you will be finding some albums. So in the album section, there is an album like coding exercise. So if you go inside that coding exercise page, so if you open the first page, it is starting programming. That was a part of the last chapter, means that we have covered. Means it is basically the chapter number 1. So now you can start from here, the chapter number 2. So what is there in chapter number 2? It is starting if. Chapter number 2.2, it is nested if. There is 3 page. And chapter number 2.3, it is composite if. So you can cover all of them, all of those 3 chapters exercise. You do not need to do anything here in the chapter 3. We will be covering this chapter 3 in our next class. So best of luck. If you face any doubt or any difficulty, you can comment on this video section, or you can send me a mail with your doubt. Okay. So best of luck.